Good evening to all. So, in the final session of this volunteer training program, today we'll be looking onto how the community actually involves in palliative care delivery. That's actually what's the community's participation in palliative care. So, I'll start off with the evolution of the concept of palliative care. In the 19th century, the hospice movement, which actually started in the Europe, and it was started by Mother Mary Aikenhead, and they were part of the Irish Sisters of Charity, and they set up the first hospice in Dublin. And after that, coming to the modern time, Dame Cicely Saunders, she actually set up the first St. Christopher's Hospice in London, and this is renowned as the first modern hospice center. And in 1961, she set up this in London. And coming to India, Dr. M.R. Rajagopal, the chairman of Palliative India, is known as the father of palliative care in India, and he started the movement of palliative care. He started the palliative care movement as a community approach in Kerala. And when it comes to Kerala, it started in 1993 and in a place called Calicut, which is the northern part of Kerala. And they started as an OP department in the Calicut Medical College. And later on, in a different place, they started the first link center, which I will be explaining later, in 1996. And the first community-based movement happened in a place called Nilambur in 1997. And later on, in 2008, the palliative care policy came into existence. And you might have seen this picture earlier on. So in palliative care, we look up into an aspect called total care or total pain. So basically, the physical pain of a person can be solved mostly by a doctor or a physician. Most of the physical aspects can be covered in that area or by that professionals. And psychological issues may be covered by a social worker or a psychologist or whoever who is trained in that area. But talking about the socio-economic aspects of a person, the main social aspects of a person can only be resolved within the society itself or within the community itself. So that is where actually the community participation has a significant role in the life of a palliative care patient. So who actually does this role in the community? That is the volunteers. The volunteers who are there in the community plays a major role in the life of a person, life of a palliative care person. So basically, a volunteer is someone who contributes their time, skills, and experience to the organization or group and gives their time for free. Like all of you have voluntarily came to participate in this volunteer training program. So actually, you are giving your time and expertise for free, so as someone would be benefited with it. So in return, volunteer may gain work experience, broaden their own life skills, develop new interest, and become more involved with the community. So automatically, when they participate in the activities of the community, they automatically become a productive member, or they automatically become a part of that community. So in palliative care, volunteers or the volunteer strength in the community is often recognized as the third most important resource in palliative care. Alongside with the professional care and the family care, volunteers are also a significant part. So volunteers have their own special place and have their own specific role to play in the life of that palliative care patient. So besides that, besides the volunteers who directly involve with the patient in giving care to the patient and the family, there are also volunteers who are involved in organizing activities for the patient, organizing fundraising activities and promotions, and various other roles in the community. So in our setting, in our mode of operating, we actually involve these volunteers in two major concepts, and actually mainly three major concepts. The first one is the neighborhood network in palliative care. So what is neighborhood network in palliative care is that we empower the local community itself to look after the patients in that community. So talking about a rural community in Trivandrum, Pallium India may not be able to reach out to all the patients from the place where it is located right now. So to deliver the care to the patient who is located remotely, we identify a local community in that area and we train them, and so that they get empowered themselves to look after their patients. So this method has been developed in order to develop a cost-effective method for the provision of palliative care in all the places. So the methods mainly we took up is that we create a network of the trained volunteers in the community. First of all, we identify them. Later on, we train them so that they join together and they form a network. And after that, we link them to other organizations or support groups in the community. If they may not be able to form their own group, we link them with some other organizations. They have a good support. And the next major concept of involving volunteers in palliative care, that is the compassionate community care campaign, which is actually the compassionate community care concept actually develops with the three major aspects, that is compassion, community, and care. So it's actually focused more on creating a culture of caring the fellow beings in our society using these concepts. The first one is compassion, that is all the people in the community are entitled to be treated with dignity, respect, and equality. The next one is community, which means all the people in the community are entitled to information, education, and support to assist them in finding answers, getting assistance, and making informed decisions that respect their individual beliefs, values, and needs. And the third and the most major aspect in this concept is that care, that all people are entitled to receive the care that they need. The person who's in a physical, psychological, spiritual, and social well-being, each of these areas require appropriate care. So the people in the community are focusing more on these major aspects, compassion, community, and care, so that the patients are able to solve their problems. And the proposed activities of compassionate community care are like to train the volunteers and the professionals to provide non-medical supportive services. So most of the volunteers may not be trained, so we identify them and later on we train them so that they are able to provide the non-medical supportive services to the patients, and to provide non-medical supportive services to the patients who are vulnerable to depression, isolation, loneliness due to old age, terminal illness, disability, and other conditions, including personal care, housekeeping help, then providing them with food kits, then shopping assistance, and helping them with transportation facilities, and helping them with medical appointments, like that. And to grow the number of the resources in the community that eventually support and operate a facility that will provide care. So one of the major aspects is to educate the public about palliative care, end-of-life issues, and other issues relevant to the care and protection of vulnerable persons, through offering courses, seminars, conferences, and meetings, and by collecting and disseminating information relating to the topic. So actually what actually means by this community-based palliative care approach is that we directly do not provide service all the time to the patients. So the community itself has to identify their resources, like the people in the community come together, they make a contact, they network each other, they form a link. So this link will identify the patients who are in need of palliative care or who are vulnerable. They identify their own resources, they identify their strengths, they make use of it. They fulfill their own needs by identifying these resources. They energize themselves, they care for their community. So the aspect of care from the community itself is what is actually meant by community-based palliative care approach. So the major objective of the community-based palliative care approach is that it is mainly aimed at creating a network of patients, not only patients, but their family members, their neighbors, their colleagues, friends, and all the other collateral sources of information or resources to help reducing the physical and mental, social, spiritual stress of the patient and the immediate family members, and also to create awareness in the society about the total care and compassion. So the need of community-based palliative care approach is that most of the patients in a palliative care setting are not like other patients. So they might be having advanced diseases and they require continuous care and attention for the rest of their lives. So the support from the community is always required for these patients. And they're also in need of regular social, psychological, and spiritual support in addition to medical and nursing care. And care should be readily accessible and available as close to home as possible. So the mobility of these patients may be very less. So, and they cannot come to a hospital or they cannot move to a palliative care facility as easily as others can. So home-based care or the care at their home is very much required, and the support of the community is very much prevalent in providing care to these patients. And there is enough social capital available to build a safety net in the community around these patients. So these are the components of community-based palliative care approach. If you can see in that ladder, the top portion comes professional, whereas these professionals may be doctors, social workers, nurses, or trained professionals like psychologists. And in the base, it comes basic supportive services that are available in the community, which means the basic resources that are available in the community. But to integrate these two things for the patient, or to provide care for the patient, a capacity building in layperson community or the community itself is required in the middle. So community-based palliative care approach is a mix of already available resources in the community, which is identified and used by the volunteer or the person who is in the community, and linking that to a professional so that these services or the care reaches the patient. So how we form a community group or a community-based palliative care group in a place. So initially, we start off with an awareness creation in the community. So we are moving towards a rural area, a rural sector. So most of the time, a local group would be approaching us with the concept that they want to start a palliative care unit in their village. Or if we are identifying a local group, we will be asking them, they will be carrying on with their usual activities. So we'll be asking them if they are interested to take up palliative care as one of their activities. And if they agree, then we'll give them an awareness session. So if around 50 people attend that awareness session, not everyone would be volunteering for that. So we'll be selecting individuals from that community to volunteer for the palliative care work. So they might be after the awareness session, they might be interested more towards palliative care and they might be coming forward. So out of that 50, only maybe 5 of them may be volunteering. So that 5 will be picking them up, then we'll be training them, we'll be giving them volunteer training program where they understand more about how the palliative care should be given to the patient, and what is the role of the community and what is the role of the volunteer in providing palliative care to the patient. So they will get a better idea of what their role is. And after that, sending the trained volunteers to their community to find out the needy. So after they get the volunteer training, they will be equipped to identify the patients. So they will be identifying the patients. They will be connecting them to the available resources or the professional team as required. So and these group will be formed with a specific objective. And if a local group comes and they are not capable enough, or they do not have that proper strength to guide that, we'll be connecting them with a bigger group or larger organization in that local area. So in this picture, this is just a symbolically to show you how important the community-based approach is. So in this picture, the a micro portion is shown as a patient. So actually, the patient and the macro it's shown as a healthcare provider or a hospital. So there exists a huge gap between this illiterate or maybe like who comes from a who comes from a rural area. That person will be very much unaware or ignorant about the healthcare systems that may be available, or they may be ignorant about the thing that they are capable, they are eligible to get a care, pain-free life. So there comes the importance of a meso element, which is the role of a volunteer. So if that person had a community-based volunteer group in their village or in their community, this group will be identifying this person and they will be connecting with the healthcare provider. And this way, the patients will be benefited. So these are the major roles, some of the major roles of volunteers in the palliative care sector. That is networking. They can network with more and more people in the community so that they join this movement and they contribute towards this palliative care in their community. Then the volunteer can have a good rapport with the patient and the family. By that way, if a professional team approaches the patient, the team may not be aware more about the patient, or the team may not be having much needed information regarding the patient. But that's not the case with the volunteer. The volunteer who is in the community, who is part of the community, and who already has a good rapport with the patient and the family, he knows much better about the patient. So this volunteer is of great help to the professional team. So and also the aspect of being there. So when a family in the community falls down or they are in a problem, the aspect, the idea that somebody is there for them, being there for the patient and being there for the family is a huge relief for the patient, and many of their problems and many of their sufferings may be resolved just by listening to them. And identifying their needs, identifying the needs of the patient, the volunteer may be better aware about the needs of the patient, what the patient actually needs, more than the professional team. And when most of the time the patient who is having a good rapport with the volunteer may open up more to the volunteer than to the professional team. And also the volunteers can render basic psychosocial support, not psychosocial support like counseling or something, since they are not professionally trained to give counseling. They can listen to the patient, and giving some time to the patient can relieve their sufferings a lot. And basic nursing aid, this also doesn't mean that professional nursing care, but simple care like cutting their hair or helping them change their dress, like that simple activities also the volunteers can do. Then follow up for home care. The volunteer can assist with the professional team who goes to the patient's home for home care. Then linking to a professional team, like that is one of the major role of the community volunteer, that the volunteer can link the patient to the professional team. Then talking about our palliative care, community-based palliative care approaches in our area, these are some of the main social support that the volunteers provide to the families and the patients. The first one is food kit, that is every month they most of the time they might be having their own resources, so they identify local resources and every month they give food packets to the patient. The next one is educational support, that is in a family, if the patient is having a problem, having a disease, or is a palliative care patient, and their children are deprived of education, or the children are not able to get education because of this existing problem in the family, then education support for the children are also being provided by our volunteers. Then availing transportation facility. If a patient needs to travel to the hospital or travel to any other places for their medical purposes, then the volunteers are there for their help, availing them with transportation facilities. Then linking them with local support, that is networking actually. The patient might be in need of an airbed or some other things that they need, but the patient may not be aware about from where they will get that thing. So the local volunteer will support them with connecting these two. Then rehabilitation facilities, the volunteers can identify rehabilitative services that are available in their community. Then facilitating the government schemes, then awareness creation. In many of our areas, we directly do not go and give awareness session. Our trained volunteers, they will be going to schools, colleges. They will be identifying local groups where they give awareness sessions for the new volunteers. Then training for the family. They train them how to like take care of the person. If that person is having some bed sore or something like that, they will be training them how to take care of that person. That administrative work that is helping them with facilitating anything or doing some paperwork for them. Then organizing fundraising activities. One of the major activities of the volunteers in the community is fundraising activities. They will be identifying the most needy patient in the community. Like equitably, they organize some activities for that person so that they raise a fund for a purpose. We'll be seeing a video where this community-based approach is very significant. It's called Bill's story. It's the story of a person who is having a chronic disease, and later on how the community holds hands itself, and how the community empowers itself to support that patient and his family. How the community's participation was very significant for that family, and how the community holded hands itself to provide care and love, which was much needed in that time for that person and the family. So why we are actually doing this? We are not doing it like as a charity. We should consider it while doing volunteering work for palliative care patients, is that it's actually their right. Like it's their right to get care, and it's actually our responsibility to provide them with care, because they are also part of our community. They're also our neighbors, our friends. So next major concept that we involve volunteers in the community is engaging with students. So we have developed a concept called SANS pain, which actually elaborates to students against needless suffering and pain, which is actually the involvement of students in palliative care activities. So students in the name of Students Initiative in Palliative Care has been doing a lot of activities in our state. And speaking about the universities, mainly two universities, that is the Kerala University and the Kerala Technical University, they have adopted palliative care as a major activity of their NSS program. So through the platform of National Service Scheme, they have been providing palliative care to many patients who are near to their colleges. So the major concept of this SANS pain is that enabling students to tackle needless pain and suffering in the society. That is, the student's role is very clear in the society to help people, because as a student community, they'll be having a lot of advantages. They will be having good acceptance in the community when they talk to people, and they can do a lot of things as they are young and vibrant, and they have a lot of expertise as well. So use their abilities to remove unnecessary suffering from their communities. So what students can do, what they can support, they'll be doing in the community for the welfare of the patient. Then creating a future generation with value-added life and fully socially responsible. So recently a school, they have contacted us, and they've been asking us, like, if we could take a training program for the students, because their students were like they actually told like they are not able to take class if these bunch of students were in the class, because they are not having a value for their classes, or like they are not having a thought about their future. So giving a value added life, or like making them fully socially responsible, is also a huge aspect of this and Spain concept. And the major objectives of this concept is that informing and educating the community about palliative care. So these trained students, they will be going back to their colleges, and they will be explaining this concept of palliative care and how and the role of these students in providing care to their patients. They will be going and educating their friends and sharing their experience with the with other students in the colleges. Then creating a network of trained volunteers. Then they'll be raising awareness about the importance and benefits of volunteering. So after we train a bunch of students, they'll be going back to their colleges, they'll be going back to their NSS unit, and they will be training their friends and their other students, and they'll be taking up activities relating to palliative care in their colleges. Then building a better world by personal growth and volunteers themselves, and also by helping others. Then colleges itself and students group, they will be organizing fundraising activities. They'll be identifying a patient and they will be organizing fundraising activities. An example would be like recently a college in Kerala, they've organized a biryani challenge. So students will be contributing whatever they can. They will be contributing from vessels to the food products and all other things. They'll be making biryani at their own college, and they'll be selling it in the nearby community. So all the funds that they receive from selling that biryani, they'll be utilizing it for the welfare of the patient. Then direct support to the patients, then developing leadership among students are also one of the major objective of these concepts. Then these are some of the major projects that are run currently by the students initiative units in different colleges. That is Care to Care, then Paint a Wall, D-Care. All these are cycle. The D-Care is a cycle, right? Then Paint a Wall. All of these activities are for awareness generation, like flash mob. All these they do in their college to generate awareness regarding palliative care. Then dialysis support, dress bank. The students they give awareness to the students in the college, and all the students contribute dresses that they have been using long back, and all these dresses they will be handing over to patients who are in need. Then PDRE, that is a concept where each student brings a handhold of rice to the college. They'll be putting it all together, and they'll be giving it to someone who is in need. Then Rehab Expo. The Rehab Expo is an exhibition of the products that is made by the patients. That is patients who are sitting in the wheelchair. They may be able to do things with their hands, so like paintings or candle making. All these products, they will be conducting an exhibition in their colleges. Then food support for the patients. Then like if a college approaches to start a palliative care club in their college, this is how we actually start. We actually begin by having 25 members in the palliative care club, which includes 15 NSS volunteers and 10 of the union members in the college. Then after the formation, they may not be able to work on their own. So we will be actually linking them with a nearby palliative care provider, which may be a volunteering group or an NGO or any other trust who is providing palliative care. So we will be linking this organization with the student group, so that the students can work along with the palliative care group, which is like a conducive thing for the organization and for the students as well. And also we conduct monthly review meetings for the students, because in order to go forward, monthly review meetings is very important. And these students group will be focusing more on the patients who are very much near to the college, who are very much near to their community. And every year in recognition to these students who are doing excellent work in palliative care, every year we celebrate the 2nd of October as Students Initiative in Palliative Care Day, and we give an award to the best college or best best institution for social commitment who have been doing palliative care. And it's astonishing that many colleges in northern Kerala were doing tremendous work in palliative care. And even in a college in Kozhikode, they are running their own palliative care OP. Like weekly once, every day in a week, a doctor, a nurse, and other trained professionals, they come to the college and they conduct palliative care OP. So this year, we gave award to that college for the best institution for social commitment. Then, like these are the major benefits of palliative care, as we have talked about how the community supports the patient and the patient who is in need. So the patient actually feels very much supported. The patient and the family feels supported. The patient is able to get individual attention, and the patient also feels less isolation. Patient remains part of the family, which is like, as we have talked about home-based care, the patient is getting the care at their homes. So they don't feel that they are isolated or they have been taken away from their family. So providing them with care in their family, they're able to lessen their pain. And understanding the family dynamics and preparing the patient and family for any anticipated difficulties and symptoms. So these are all the major roles that the community play in providing palliative care who is in need of it. As a conclusion, like it's written on the screen, when I is replaced by we, even illness become wellness. And we are not adding days to their life, actually. We are adding life to their remaining days. So that's what actually we as a volunteer should do to the patients. Thank you.
Thank you, Sreekanth. That was really a very informative session. So I think the desk is open for questions right now. Any questions to Sreekanth? So like whatever Sreekanth has mentioned is our experience or our knowledge about how palliative care is delivered in a setting in Kerala. So that this might be different in different communities, districts, states, and countries. So this is our knowledge, what we have in palliative care. And one more thing is that we are having different project officers, national project officers working in different areas of the country. So if you are interested in connecting yourself with any palliative care centers, let us know. We will get you connected with our project officers. If you have any questions, you can unmute from your end and ask.
I just want to find out that once we become volunteers, can we join your meetings? I believe you have regular meetings, or is it only for the Kerala group? The volunteer meetings which you have?
Ma'am, you're talking about being volunteer with Palliative India Trust?
Yeah, I'm saying once we complete this training today, I believe you have volunteer meetings regularly for your group. So would they be extended to us only, or is that only meant for Kerala?
At present, it is only meant for Kerala, like Trivandrum volunteers. Like we can help you connect with any palliative care centers in your location so that you can get connected with them and get actively involved in palliative care works.
No. I'm already part of a palliative care team. My whole thing was that since we've connected with Palliative India, would we also be a part of your ongoing workshops or trainings, or our training ends today?
At present, it ends today, ma'am. But like we will let you know about further programs we are having. Like we have that WhatsApp group live, right? So we will keep it live full time. So that any doubts you have, you can ask us in WhatsApp group, and whatever programs we are starting in, we will give you information in that.
Thank you.
Basically, the volunteering with Palliative India is actually physical volunteering. So at present, our volunteers in Trivandrum are connected with us. We don't have a virtual volunteering roles and all right now, but maybe in future we might be having, of which we will be updating you in. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Hema ma'am, we will definitely share all the project officers' number with the region base in the WhatsApp. Any further questions? No, we don't have any test regarding this training. At present, we haven't set any age criteria, I guess, for becoming a volunteer. Like we had like 12th standard students and all being part of our volunteer training program and being a volunteer with us. We have got a question. We don't really have a palliative care NGO program here in our rural areas. So if we establish a program and start a community, how can you as a center help us in building the programs?
So like we've got regional coordinators.
May I know where are you from? I might pronounce your name wrong. Lanking form. Can you unmute from your end and speak? Longlang district. Sorry, I didn't get. Oh, Nagaland state. Okay. Sir, can I? So we have a project officer look into Northeast region. We are on Mr. Rontu. So I can get you connected with Rontu. Rontu can explain to you which all centers are there in Nagaland, which can help you work in rural area in Nagaland. Will that be helpful, sir? How does a student initiative start? Those are individual initiatives, or there is a palliative care department at the university that stimulates it?
No, these are not individual initiatives actually, and there is no palliative care department in the university. Actually, through the NSS platform, I hope that you are aware about the NSS National Service Scheme. So the universities, the NSS cell of the universities, they take up palliative care as a major activity. So through the platform of NSS, where palliative care is a major activity, they conduct regular training programs for the students. They conduct home care. They connect with the local palliative care provider, and through the platform of NSS, they are doing these activities.
Was that helpful, Maria? Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to ask if crowdfunding or raising funds through online platforms like Keto or so on, is it part of community palliative?
I'm not aware about that kind of funding from Keto. Like currently, I don't think that we are running any kind of that kind of community fundraising activities. All we are doing is conducting activities directly, like organizing food fest, organizing rehab exhibitions. So purely live activities are currently what we focus more on fundraising.
But I guess crowdfunding can be an activity on which volunteers can be deeply involved, get some funding in place so that and contribute to some palliative care centers to a novel cause. That can be one of the way.
Yeah, thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am.
You have a yearly meeting of Palliative India, or
Sorry, ma'am, I didn't hear you.
I'm saying, do you have any yearly meetings of Palliative India for which people come from outside or no?
Like you're talking about volunteer meeting on a very national level or something?
Or a workshop on a national level or no? Or it's confined to the region?
At present, no, ma'am. But
Okay.
like whoever has joined us as in-house in Trivandrum as volunteers, do attend all our team meetings which
Okay.
happen on Friday. We have a Friday team meeting in which all the volunteers plus the staff members join. So those are generally physical volunteers. So they have that connect of going and meeting the patients at their place and coming back.
So in case we are in Trivandrum, we can attend a meeting. If we come that side, we could attend a Friday meeting. Right?
Yes. So it's like the team meeting is where we actually talk about what more we can do
Sure.
to any link centers, patients and all. So,
Sure.
ma'am, may I know where are you from?
I'm from Delhi. So in case one comes that side, I would also like to come and see your setup, I mean, if we are that side, yeah, definitely.
Always welcome, ma'am. Eager
Yes, sir.
to welcome you when you are here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.